What if true joy isn't found in what you own, but in what you've deliberately forgotten? 2,300 years ago, a Greek philosopher named Epicurus hosted radical dinner parties. No lavish food, no gold plates, just olives, barley bread, and conversations about freedom. His secret? 7 rules of elderly wisdom that turn scarcity into soul-deep abundance. And here's the twist. Your great-grandmother likely used them too, without ever reading a philosophy book. Modern minimalism obsesses over decluttering, but our elders mastered something deeper, joyful simplicity. They didn't count possessions, they counted moments. In this video, we're resurrecting Epicurus' forgotten garden rules, principles your ancestors used to thrive through wars, famine, and loss. You'll discover why rule number 3 bans all mirrors. Hint, it's not about vanity. How rule number 5 weaponizes useless beauty, and why a 1940s farmwife's poverty pantry holds the key to modern mental freedom. This isn't history. It's an ancient blueprint for turning lack into luxury, starting with your next breath. Epicurus didn't just ban mirrors in his garden. He staged a quiet revolution against the obsession with self-image, a rebellion your great-grandparents enacted daily without a manifesto. Picture this. A 1930s farmhouse with one cracked mirror hung deliberately in the darkest corner of the barn. Not because they feared vanity, but because they understood a radical truth. When you stop measuring your worth by your reflection, you start calibrating it by your impact. The elderly wisdom here is surgical. Mirrors amplify lack, wrinkles, stains, the not enough narrative. But in their absence, you're forced to feel your existence through hands that need bread, eyes that memorize sunsets, laughter that syncs with loved ones. A Depression-era widow once told her granddaughter, "Child, the only face that matters is the one others see when you're not looking." She'd removed her bedroom mirror in 1937, replacing it with a chalkboard listing neighbors' needs. This isn't anti-beauty, it's pro-aliveness. Epicurus knew, true joy blooms when you stop auditing your flesh and start investing in your fingerprints on the world. Modern science agrees. Studies show self-objectification drains mental bandwidth. But our elders weaponized this void. No mirror meant no rehearsed smiles, no performative grief. Just raw, unedited humanity. Your turn. Where does your reflection distract you from your resonance? Epicurus' garden thrived on a paradox, luxury born of lack. While modern minds equate scarcity with deprivation, your great-grandmother's hands knew better. Take the 1930s farmwives who transformed flour sacks into staggering tapestries, stitching roses from rags, weaving hope into every thread. This wasn't craftivism. This was survival of the soul. Elderly wisdom whispers, useless beauty is oxygen for the human spirit. Those Depression-era women didn't quilt for warmth, they stitched to stay sane. Each swirl of embroidered ivy on a feed sack dress screamed rebellion against despair. Epicurus rule number 5, cultivate beauty that feeds no stomach but starves all dread. Science now confirms it. fMRI scans show creating pointless art lights up the brain's joy circuits like a summer solstice. Consider Hiroshi, a Kyoto potter who survived World War II molding teacups from rubble. Clay doesn't care about bombs, he'd say. It only asks if your hands remember how to tremble with life. These elders grasped a truth we've monetized into oblivion. Productivity numbs, but purposeless creation resurrects. Your kitchen shelf's chipped mug, glazed with your toddler's fingerprints? That's not clutter, it's a covenant. Your turn. What useless beauty have you abandoned to the altar of utility? In 1936, as dust storms choked the Midwest, a Kansas farmer's daughter etched marks on her porch post, not to measure rainfall, but to count how many times her father smiled when clouds finally burst. This was elderly wisdom's liquid liturgy, reverence for what falls freely and cannot be owned. Epicurus' disciples called it sky feast, but your ancestors lived it. They didn't just collect rainwater, they worshipped it, sipping storms from rusted barrels like sacramental wine. Here's the radical truth those parched lips knew. Thirst is the universe's oldest tutor. When you drink from piped perfection, you forget water's taste. But when you cup your hands beneath a gutter's leak, each drop becomes a psalm. A Dust Bowl widow once wrote in her journal, "We stopped praying for rain when we learned to pray to it, to thank its absence for teaching us hunger's hymn." Modern labs confirm this. The scarcity appreciation effect shows delayed gratification heightens joy by 300%. Epicurus rule number 2 demands, let no drink touch your lips until you've named its journey from cloud to tongue. This isn't hydration, it's hierophany. Your great-grandparents' rain barrels weren't storage, they were altars. Every sip carried the memory of monsoons, the sweat of hauling, the metallic tang of hope. Today's bottled water? A tomb for miracles. Your turn. When did you last taste life undistilled by convenience? In the winter of 1894, a Vermont farmer split his last log into 12 slivers, each time to burn precisely 73 minutes, not to ration heat, but to ritualize it. This was Elderly Wisdom's fiery calculus, measuring warmth not by logs consumed, but by stories shared in the flicker. Epicurus rule number 4, define enough geometrically, not greedily, wasn't philosophy. It was survival turned sacrament. Your ancestors didn't stoke fires, they courted them. A single ember's glow was plotted like constellations, to thaw mittens at dawn, simmer broth by noon, coax twilight confessions from children's lips. Modern thermostats numb us to heat's hierarchy, but those who survived the Great Frost of 1888 left diaries detailing ash gratitude, the art of feeling fuller with less. A black homesteader named Hattie wrote, "We stopped counting wood when we started counting breaths warmed." Neuroscience now reveals why. The brain releases 40% more dopamine when resources are actively curated versus passively consumed. Those elders weren't cold, they were alchemists, turning scarcity into somatic math. Your hearth today? It's every automated excess, the Netflix queue numbing you, the closet spilling unworn armor. Epicurus whispers, abundance isn't stockpiled, it's designed. Your turn. What equations have you let laziness solve? Epicurus students buried dandelions, not gold. To them, a plant that fed, healed, and taught impermanence was the ultimate currency. Your ancestors knew this too. During the 1930s Dust Bowl, children traded dandelion crowns like Wall Street brokers. Not because they were poor, but because they'd mastered transient economics. Each yellow bloom was a 3-day stock, salad by dawn, wine by dusk, wishes by moonrise. Elderly wisdom here is botanical. Dandelions don't just grow, they perform. Their roots break concrete, their seeds mock hoarding. A Depression-era mother in Oklahoma famously declared bankruptcy by releasing a fistful of dandelion fluff into the wind, shouting, "Try repossessing that." She wasn't being poetic. She'd grasped rule number 7. Joy multiplies when wealth is designed to decay. Modern neuroscience echoes this. MRI scans show our brains light up 22% brighter when giving temporary gifts versus permanent ones. Epicurus didn't preach poverty. He engineered an ecosystem where loss was fertilizer. Those dandelion trading kids grew into adults who'd rather lose a paycheck than a sunset. Why? Because they'd been baptized in scarcity's most subversive truth. The tighter you cling, the less you hold. Your smartphone's cracked screen? A dandelion in disguise. Your turn. What could you gain by letting go of forever? In 1943, a prisoner of war in Java kept a diary using charcoal and monsoon runoff. His words vanished with each dry spell, leaving only memories etched in his cellmates' minds. This was Elderly Wisdom's defiance, writing truths too vital for paper. Epicurus rule number 6 demands, let language flow like rivers, not stagnate like ink. Your ancestors lived this, scribbling recipes on fogged windows, carving prayers into soap bars, singing maps into the wind. There's genius in impermanent mediums. A 1920s Midwestern drought birthed rain journals. Farmers wrote crop rotations on slate stones, letting showers wash away yesterday's plans. Why? To unshackle the mind from the tyranny of permanence. Modern studies reveal our brains retain 70% more when words are transient. Think of monks crafting mandalas from sand. But your great-grandparents didn't need labs. They knew. Clinging to records breeds regret. Epicurus Garden thrived on oral debates, not scrolls. Truths that stick, he argued, are those that swim through tongues, not cling to parchment. A Depression-era teacher taught algebra by finger-writing equations in flour spread on tables. After class, a single breath erased proofs, leaving only the shape of understanding. Your smartphone's endless notes? Digital hoarding. Their flour equations? Mental origami. Your turn. What truths have you imprisoned behind permanence? In 1918, as the Spanish flu hollowed out cities, a nurse in New York began mapping survivors' homes not by furniture, but by echoes. She noted how rooms stripped of excess became amplifiers, of children's laughter bouncing off bare walls, of a widow's nightly recitations of Homer with nothing to muffle her vibrato. This was elderly wisdom's final rebellion, treating emptiness as a collaborator, not a void. Epicurus rule number 1, build your home like a lyre, where every absence tightens the song, wasn't metaphor. It was acoustic engineering. Your ancestors didn't fear empty corners. They curated them. A 1930s tenement dweller might keep one wall bare to host the ghost of her Sicilian grandmother's voice. A Dust Bowl farmer left his porch unswept to better hear rain's first patter. Modern neuroscience vindicates them. Silence triggers neurogenesis, growing new brain cells that noise suffocates. But those elders didn't need MRIs. They knew. Clutter isn't just visual noise. It's echo murder. Epicurus Garden had a room called kenosis, the emptier, where students sat alone with their breath. No scrolls, no statues, just the reverberations of their last debate. Today's minimalist apartments obsess over aesthetic voids. But true emptiness, like that nurse's echo maps, isn't empty at all. It's a plenum where joy resonates at frequencies clutter cancels. Your turn. What song is your clutter silencing? Epicurus didn't teach minimalism. He engineered joy amplification, turning life's scarcities into symphonies. Those 7 rules. They're not relics. They're tuning forks for your modern soul. Your great-grandparents' poverty was a masterclass in richness we've yet to decode. So here's your challenge. For 1 week, let one elderly wisdom rule rewrite your rhythm. Burn a log slower. Drink rain like wine. Bury a dandelion with a secret attached. Then watch. As your clutter becomes conductor, your lack becomes libretto. If this felt like a key turning in a lock you forgot existed, you're not done yet. The channel is a living archive of these unspoken codes, from stoic shadow work to Ikigai's whispered rebellions. Hit subscribe. Ring the bell. Let's keep resurrecting the wisdom that doesn't just simplify life, but sonifies it.